Hello everyone, I'm Dan Philgreen, and this is Shell Point Today for the weekend of August 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. On today's show, we'll get a preview of an upcoming presentation with Shell Point physical therapist C.J. Gulotta called Walk Tall. But first, a few announcements. On Thursday, you should have received your new issue of Shell Point Life magazine for August. That means it's time to sign up for August activities. Use the magazine to take a look at the offerings listed for this new month. Plan out what you want to do, and then call the service desk of your choice to secure your place on a fun outing or other event. Some of the best activities have limited space and require sign-up, so get your name in now. If you're looking for something to do this summer, helping others often turns out to be the most fun and satisfying for the person doing the serving. There are many different opportunities to help out in the Larson Pavilion, and summer is a time when many folks who normally volunteer are away. Your help could make a big difference in the lives of our pavilion residents and staff. Look for the Pavilion Auxiliary Volunteer Update printed in this week's weekly reminder for more information. One fun activity you'll never have to sign up for is the Friday morning market at the administration courtyard. It's a great place to pick up some wonderful fresh fruits and veggies, or maybe a jar of local honey, or some aromatic homemade soap products. Come on out and meet our friendly marketplace vendors. Speaking of friendly, the friendly smile of C.J. Gulotta will be familiar to anyone who has spent time in the Shell Point Rehabilitation Center. Christine, or C.J. as most of us know her, will be making a presentation called Walk Tall on August 8th. She is here today to give us a preview.
I'm Mary Franklin, here today with Christine Gulotta, who will be giving a presentation on Walking Tall. Christine is our program director right here at Shell Point in our Rehabilitation Center. Christine, thanks for being here today.
Thank you.
Now, you came to me with a wonderful program idea, and it's called Walking Tall. It's going to take place on Friday, August 8th at 10:15 a.m. in the Social Center.
Yes.
And you saw this because you were walking around property and you saw a few things. What did you see?
I can see people that are looking down at their feet. I can see people that are walking with the walker too far ahead. People who have walkers or canes that are not the proper height for them to be walking tall.
Okay. And so when they're using improper positioning on using the devices, it can cause secondary issues?
Absolutely. We can see people who develop other types of pains, or it can even lead to a fall, which can result in other injuries. So that is definitely something that we like to address and make sure that people are using their walkers, canes, and assistive devices properly.
Okay. So any resident that's using anything right now, this would be a great tool to come. You're going to give some real life examples of how you can make quick, easy changes to the way you're getting around property, and so you won't, if you're using a cane on your right, you don't hurt the left hip, right?
Absolutely. We'll be talking about proper posture, how to properly measure the assistive devices, and how to use it properly so that you can avoid common mistakes.
Okay. This is going to be a great program, and if you would like to sign up, you can do so at either of the service desks. Once again, it's going to take place on Friday, August 8th at 10:15 a.m. in the Social Center. Christine's going to be giving out a wealth of information, so please come. I'm Mary Franklin. Make it a happy and healthy day.
Coming up, we are replaying some of the week's best stories from Shell Point TV. But before we do that, let's cover all the weekend's happenings, menus, and church news.
It's the weekend edition of Shell Point TV, and on Friday it is sign-up day, and so we hope to see you at either the service desk, or you can give us a jingle and we'll sign you up for all the wonderful August programming. But starting on Friday morning, we have 8:30 Marketplace at the Administration Courtyard until 11:30. Round Robin Doubles Tennis will be played at 9. And at 10 a.m., Canasta/Samba will be played in the game room at the Woodlands. You can choose to play either game. The Inquiring Minds group will be meeting at 10:15 in the Manatee room. And the Model Yacht Sailing Club will be racing their boats at the Commons Lake at 10:15. Mixed Progressive Bridge will be played at 12:30 in the game room. And that takes us to our monthly diabetes group appointment, which will be gathering at 1 p.m. in the Social Center. Your Friday afternoon 1:15 choices are advanced table tennis in the Tarpon Room and quilters in the Osprey Room. Vespers will be meeting in the community room at the Arbor at 1:30, and Bid Euchre will be played in the Sable Room at 2 p.m. We have two other Vespers options at 2:30, the community room of King's Crown, and at 3:30, the Springs. And we wrap up Friday night with game night in the Resident Activity Center at 6:45. Bev, lots of fun taking place on Saturday.
That's right. We don't stop the activities on Saturday. We start at 8 o'clock. Pickleball will be played at the pickleball court behind the Resident Activity Center. Also at 8 o'clock, we have the round robin doubles tennis at the Woodlands Tennis Courts. 9:30 is the time for men's doubles tennis and women's doubles tennis. 9:45, duplicate bridge will be played in the Manatee Room on the island. At 1 o'clock, we have chess in the Library Lounge. If you like Scrabble, they'll be playing in the Library Lounge at 1:15. And also at 1:15, it's table tennis in the Tarpon Room, and that's open all weekend unless it's otherwise noted. At 3:15, the basic line dancing class will be going on in the Health Club. We're going to top off Saturday night at 6:30 with duplicate bridge in the Manatee Room. Here's Mary for your Sunday lineup.
We start at 9 a.m. on Sunday morning with morning worship in the Grand Cypress Room. And we offer another morning worship at 11 a.m. in the Grand Cypress Room as well. 6:15 is the time for evening service in the Social Center. That's it for our weekend activities. We hope you make it a great one. We look forward to seeing you out and about on campus. Have a great weekend.
Menus for your weekend. In the Crystal Room, the Crystal Platter on Friday is seafood Newburg with white rice and broccoli. The dinner special is the seafood buffet for $15.95, and the soup of the day is lentil. In the Island Cafe for lunch, the special on Friday is a seafood basket with coleslaw and fries for $7.25. The dinner special is Chef's Choice for $8.25. Dinner specials in the Palm Grill on Friday are lamb chops for $22.95 or flounder for $14.95. On Saturday, the Crystal Room is closed. In the Island Cafe for lunch on Saturday, the special is a smoked sausage sandwich with chips for $7.25. The dinner special is grilled tilapia with wild rice and mixed vegetables for $8.25. The dinner special in the Palm Grill on Saturday is prime rib for $19.95. On Sunday, the Crystal Room features its Sunday brunch for $17.50. In the Island Cafe for lunch on Sunday, the special is a grilled ham and turkey sandwich with Swiss cheese and chips for $7.25. The dinner special is Chef's Choice for $8.25, and the Palm Grill is closed on Sundays. All menus are available 24 hours a day at www.shellpoint.net.
Greetings and welcome to Village Church Connections. As we anticipate the weekend, I'm here with Pastor Andy Hawkins. Thank you, Andy, for joining me today.
It's my pleasure.
We are looking forward to Sunday services. Sunday morning in the Grand Cypress Room at 9 and 11. And I know it will be Communion Sunday, first Sunday of the month, and so that's always a special time.
Absolutely, yeah.
And you are in the book of Hebrews. Tell us a little bit about what we should anticipate for this coming week.
Yeah, well, it's a rich book, as you've already gathered. So much about the person and work of the Lord Jesus and His superiority. That's the main theme of the book. But the book is a sermon, and it's a word of exhortation. And so there are sprinkled throughout the book of Hebrews these kinds of exhortations. Let us do this, let us do that. And from time to time, then we find how the author of the book wants us to apply the truths that we've heard about the Lord Jesus Christ. And this time we're in the 4th chapter of the book of Hebrews, toward the end of the book, when we're told that because of who Jesus is, we're to draw near to the throne of grace, draw near because the access to the Father has been opened by the finished work of Jesus. We're no longer needing to be having our engagement with God mediated by some kind of system of priesthood. Jesus is our great high priest, and He invites us to be in the very presence of the living God because of what He's done. And so we are told that we should draw near to the throne of grace. And it's one of the great encouraging words, I think, in Scripture, that the work of Christ has given us access to the Father, and He beckons us to come and enjoy that access. And so I think it's going to be a wonderfully encouraging morning, and particularly particularly that message associated with communion is especially significant because we remember the death of our Lord Jesus and what he has done to secure our access to the Father. And in fact, we do draw near to God every time we go before the Lord's table. And so I'm always deeply moved by our practice of the Lord's Supper. And so we're going to do that Sunday morning. It's going to be a special time.
You are so right. I think that has got to be one of my very favorite passages in all of the Bible. And so we expect good things.
Oh, good.
Sunday morning. And then Sunday night, we have a special guest that's going to be with us.
Reverend Larry Lane, who is a son-in-law of one of our Village Church folks who has been in our church for quite a number of years, has had wonderful ministries both on the East Coast and the West Coast in church settings. And now he's the director of a ministry called Kingdom Catalyst. And what he has done is he develops schools of transformation, not just here in the United States, but even all across the globe, because he shows how the communication of the gospel and the establishment of churches gives people the capacity to transform their communities. And so we see radical differences in communities that are affected by the gospel of Jesus Christ for the general welfare of people, the health and communications of people, the relationships of people, how the gospel can actually transform whole communities. And so he's developed that kind of ministry, helps churches understand how to impact their local communities. So I'm really looking forward to the message that he'll be able to bring to us as a church. And obviously we are a church that affects the community, and we want to do it as well as we can possibly do it. So Reverend Larry Lane will be here on Sunday evening, 6:15, and of course we have that service in the social center, and I'm sure it'll be very well received and a great encouragement to us.
That sounds great. I know there's been a lot of research in that area, just even in recent years, about the effect of the gospel, and so
that's right.
He'll have a lot to share.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Andy. And thank you for joining us today. Please join us Sunday, either at 9 or 11 a.m., or by way of TV at 10:30, Sunday night at 6:15 in the social center. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.
It's time now to take a look back at some of the week's best stories from Shell Point Today. As it happened, we had a Health Connection story every day this week. We really, really want to see you healthy. The first story was about strokes with Dr. Harold Portnoy.
I'm Mary Franklin, here today with a wonderful American Heart Association volunteer. He will be coming to the Grand Cypress Room at 3 p.m. on Tuesday, August 5th, and he will cover the topic of strokes. If you'd like to sign up for this program, you can do so at either of the service desk. And please welcome to Shell Point TV, Dr. Portnoy. Dr. Portnoy, thank you for being here.
Well, I'm happy to be here, Mary.
Well, you are a volunteer with the American Heart Association, but you have had an amazing career, and I would like you to share a little bit of that with our Shell Point residents.
Well, I'm a neurosurgeon, or at least I'm a retired neurosurgeon. I practiced for 47 years and retired 3 years ago. Okay. And I retired because my wife said, you got to get out of this business.
Okay.
And we came to Florida. My practice was in Michigan, primarily at a hospital called St. Joseph Mercy, Oakland. And over the years, I've probably done almost everything in either neurosurgery or administration.
So came down here, retired, but the wife pushed you out the door and said you need to volunteer with the American Heart Association?
Well, she didn't quite say that. She said, this is what you're going to do. And I'm trying to be a good husband and follow her lead.
Well, you are going to give this presentation on strokes because you understand. You have seen many of your patients throughout the year. Now, there's different types of strokes, correct?
Yes. There's really two large categories of stroke. One, which we call ischemic stroke, which means that the blood supply to an area of the brain is either diminished or absent. And the other is called hemorrhagic stroke because of a bleed somewheres into the brain.
Okay.
And we'll explain the ins and outs of both those types of stroke.
Okay. And also, so you're going to cover the warning signs.
Oh, yes. We're going to cover the warning signs. That's the advertisement from the American Heart Association, is to tell you the warning signs. So we will definitely tell you the warning signs.
And if you follow those warning signs, you get to the doctor in time, your chances are fairly good, correct?
A lot better than they used to be. Some recent data shows that there has been almost a 30 to 40% decrease in stroke over the last 15 years.
Right. Now, I have this feeling you're going to use the American Heart Association script that you've been giving, but you're going to put some personal.
Actually, I have about three little slides for the American Heart Association, and the rest is, I think, is just interesting stuff that you would like to know.
Okay. And can people ask you questions? There's a doctor in the room. You got to get asked questions.
Well, we'll probably take up about a half hour of your time, and then usually what happens is there's another almost half hour of questions.
Right.
So I'm always happy to answer your question if it's not too tough. If it's too tough, I may have to just beg out of it.
Right, right. Well, I have a feeling you can answer 99.9% of the questions.
It's that 1/10 of 1% that you got to worry about.
Right, right. Well, Dr. Portnoy is going to be a wonderful presenter with so much information, and his wealth of knowledge and experience will translate into this presentation through the American Heart Association just fabulously. Once again, the presentation is going to take place in the Grand Cypress Room at 3 p.m. on Tuesday, August 5th. Go ahead and join us by signing up at either the service desk. I'm Mary Franklin. Make it a happy and healthy day.
Our next health piece was with Dr. Roger Herchak, who introduced us to our new nurse practitioner and told us about a new model for healthcare at Shell Point.
Hi, I'm Dr. Roger Herchak, Vice President of Medical Services here at Shell Point. With me today is Rita Southern, who is our Director of Assisted Living and Resident Support Services, and Kimberly Hogan, who is our new nurse practitioner that has recently started and become part of our medical team here at Shell Point. So welcome to you both.
Thank you.
Most of you know Rita because Rita's been with us for many years. I think since the start of 1964 when Shell Point first started.
Nice, thank you.
So you're welcome, Rita.
Then I was 2 years old.
Yes, you started as a baby. As many of you are aware, we're always looking for a more efficient model of providing health care for our residents. And we are now really focusing on an enhancement in the way that we deliver medical care here at Shell Point, which means when appropriate in your actual home setting. We're looking at a different model of care called a home model that is in the very early stages. With our new nurse practitioner on board, Kim Hogan, we could start with our new model of care. And I think I know this will be a very exciting thing for our residents and more reflective of what happens in the community setting. Kim, would you tell us a little bit about yourself and your background?
Sure. I'm originally from Kentucky, and I have been a nurse now for 36 years. Very, very diverse background. Most recently, I came here from Nova Southeastern University. I was a college professor teaching nursing, and before that, I have had over 20 years in the long-term care field as a director of nursing, infection control, and a regional nurse consultant traveling all over the nation. As a nurse practitioner, I'm board certified in adult and geriatric primary care nursing, and I'm very happy to be here.
Wonderful.
Very happy to be here.
We're happy and we're blessed to have you here with us. Kim will be seeing residents actually at the assisted living facilities on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. This is the start of bringing home health care to the assisted living facilities to work toward that medical model. Rita, could you tell us how a nurse practitioner making home visits in the assisted living facility will enhance the delivery of health care?
I'm so excited to have Kim be a part of our healthcare team, our assisted living team. As our residents age in place in assisted living, their health becomes sometimes a bit more unpredictable, a little bit more frail. And as we have a resident that is dealing with an incidental ailment, something that comes up, you wake up and you're not feeling good, the last thing you really want to do is get on a transport van and go to the medical center to see a provider. Or maybe you've had a fall the night before and you didn't need to go to the emergency room, but you still need to be seen and have a medical provider see that person. So to have Kim in our building working with our staff and our residents, I can't be more thrilled. I just think she makes such a well-rounded addition to our team. So
Great.
welcome.
Thank you.
Well, that's and Kim, you've already started over the past day or so. So how do you know who to visit? What is a communication? Communication is very key, and we're always trying to make things as seamless as possible. Again, for our residents and to make sure that we have all ends taken care of. So how will you know who to see and who is in need of your care?
Right. That will be coming mainly from the nursing staff at each of the assisted living facilities. They know the residents very well, and when they see a change or they see that perhaps they need a little extra attention or something, they can contact me. They can go to the front desk in the medical center, and they can schedule time with me.
Great.
So I'll be checking that several times throughout the day to know exactly where I need to be.
Wonderful, wonderful. And you do make a good point. Rita staff certainly knows better than anyone else the residents that are in need of care.
Absolutely.
And the sooner they receive that care, the better off they are also. So that's no small issue. Rita, does this eliminate the need for medical center visits?
I don't think it's going to eliminate the need. I think it's probably going to diminish the need for folks to be going back and forth. Residents are going to look to Kim to be that person that's an extension of their physician. And so there'll be a lot of coordination that Kim will have with the medical center. There will continue to be appointments that folks will have at the clinic to see their provider. But to have a nurse practitioner walk in their apartment and talk to them about what their ailment is, what their issue is at that particular moment in time, it will be more immediate care, I think. Residents will have the benefit of seeing Kim a little bit quicker and get on top of some of those ailments, a urinary tract infection, a digestive upset, any of those things that we can kind of curtail right there and treat in the apartment, then Kim will be that go-to person.
Good. And then, Kim, how do you keep once again, the MDs, the primary care physicians, appraised of your findings?
Absolutely. Well, it's all about communication in order to deliver the very, very best care. So everything that I do, whenever I see someone in the assisted living, it'll be documented into the electronic medical record.
Okay.
And then I'll also be collaborating with the physicians about each one of the residents that I see also. So everyone will be on top of the information.
I think the important thing for assisted living residents to know, as well as ShellPoint residents to know, is that electronic medical record that Kim and the providers use is the same electronic record that our staff uses. And so when our nursing staff in assisted living are observing something going on with a resident, they communicate by way of that electronic record, and Kim gets that, the medical center docs get that, and so that again, that communication is seamless. And when Kim has seen somebody in the assisted living setting and that person goes to a doctor's appointment, their doctor's going to be right in the middle of that loop with what's gone on and what's been done on our end as well as what they're looking at from a presenting problem in the clinic.
Right.
And again, seamless, comprehensive, so no one left out of the loop.
Right.
And I'm sure some of the residents would be concerned or ask the question, how do we get reimbursed for this? And there is a code for Medicare and a payment system set up for those in need of assisted living care treatment. So that will be still covered by Medicare. You know, in the near future, the medical model is going to be enhanced even further, and bringing Kim on board is the start of enhancing this medical model of care that we're hoping. Our president always says, I want to make dust and not eat dust. I believe that's a saying. We've been here for quite a while. And,
heard it a couple of times.
And so that's certainly what we want to do. We always want to stay on the cutting edge. One of the problems with what we do in medicine here is that we're always on that cutting edge, so we really can't look at anybody to see what they're doing for their models, because they're looking at ShellPoint to see what kind of integrated healthcare delivery system that we have here. I just want to take this opportunity for the residents to also let them know that starting in September, there'll be further changes, and that has to do with Dr. Chin. Dr. Chin has recently met with me and requested a reduction in her hours for some personal reasons. And so we looked at this as, how does this fit into our medical model? Everyone loves Dr. Chin. They appreciate the care that she gives. But Dr. Chin is not only an internist, but she is board certified in hospice care, palliative care. And being such, her first love is really hospice. So now that we have additional support for the medical center and providers for the outside facility, the new model in September will have Dr. Chin working, covering hospice in a skilled nursing facility on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, and being in the medical center on Monday to see patients. So this will be a different model, especially for those that use Dr. Chin on a regular basis. So it's bittersweet, but it helps us with our new model of care, and will help us even using Dr. Chin at times to go out into the community on weekends at times, and it keeps Dr. Chin with us. So we're looking at this as a win-win. And with the hiring of Kim, we will have 3 days worth of providers in the medical center Monday through Friday. Often the way it is right now, as you know, there may be 1 or 2 providers certain days of the week. With the new medical model starting in September, we'll have 3 providers Monday through Friday. So what does this mean for you as our ShellPoint residents? Less wait time. You could call in for an appointment and you'll be more likely to be seen much sooner. As we've always said, ShellPoint really has a group practice. So you may call in and want to see a particular provider, but that provider may be booked, but there'll be many other options of other providers to be seen. So you will be seen, hopefully less than a 3-day wait, by one of the other providers. So I think it's important to, again, understand that this change will take place in September. Now, in September, if you please pay attention to the ShellPoint Life magazine, Mr. Dice and I will be going into more detail on this medical model. And because we've looked at this for quite a few months now, how do we bring our services out into the Shell Point community? And so Mr. Dice and I will go into more detail that will be presented in the Shell Point Life magazine in September. So stay tuned for that to learn more. Thank you for being with us, and blessings.
We took a break from all things medical to have a look back at a beautiful trip that Activities Program Coordinator Bev Chanley led to Mackinac Island, Michigan. Shelley Rogerson came by to preview her upcoming presentation about hearing loss.
I'm Mary Franklin, along with Shelley Rogerson, with a Health Connection program coming on Wednesday, August 6th at 1 p.m. in the Arbor Community Room, which is on the second floor. This time, Shelley's going to be talking about healthy aging, how much hearing loss is normal. So, Shelley, it's normal to lose hearing over the years?
Yes, most of us start to lose our hearing even in our 20s and 30s.
Okay.
But it's a good idea to find out if your hearing is normal for your age, and just because things are normal doesn't mean that they don't always need treatment. You might have high blood pressure, but it doesn't mean that it's, left untreated.
Right.
So we want to know if it's enough that you need help.
Okay. What are some of the factors that cause you to lose your hearing over the years? Is it hereditary, or is it more your environment?
It's mostly genetic, inherited, and there's a lot of things that can contribute. The blood supply, being a diabetic might make it worse or more noticeable. Your blood pressure, a lot of things contribute to your hearing.
Okay. And that's where it's important, where your RN role, you are a nurse as well, and you can see how other medical issues can combine and cause other issues with your ear and your hearing loss.
Exactly, right.
Okay. Well, this is going to be a great talk because, you may, instead of just saying, I'm getting older, it's just something I have to put up with. It's not something you just have to put up with. There are solutions out there, right?
Right, and sometimes I tell people to do it for the other people around them. Sometimes it's hard to do things for ourselves, but when we know it's affecting our relationships, making it more stressful for our husband or wife to be around our family members, sometimes it's easier if we think about doing it for other people.
Okay. Now, Shelley, you've been working for Belltown for a while. How many years have you been coming out to Shell Point?
Probably about 5 years now.
Okay. Well, we see you around property, making a difference in a lot of our lives, of the lives of our residents here, and we appreciate all that you do.
I love being here.
Okay.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Well, if you'd like to sign up for this presentation that will take place in the Arbor Community Room at 1 p.m. on Wednesday, August 6th, please call either of the service desk and we'll get you signed up. I'm Mary Franklin. Make it a happy and healthy day.
I did my best to keep you healthy by keeping you out of the way of lightning. Well, most of you know that our colleague Jared has moved on to pursue other goals, and Adam's taking a few days off for vacation, so I'm shooting this as a selfie. That's a new official word if you didn't know, selfie, and you can Google it up. And oh yeah, Google is a new verb, by the way. Anyway, the subject for today is lightning. Now, lightning can be 50,000 degrees Fahrenheit. That's 3 to 5 times as hot as the surface of the sun, which is awesome and just overwhelming. So we don't want to mess with lightning. It's estimated that lightning strikes the Earth 100 times every second. That's somewhere on the planet. That's 8.6 million strikes per day and over 3 billion a year. Florida is the lightning capital of the United States, as we all know, and most of the concentration is in Southwest Florida, right where we are. 92% of all lightning strikes between May and September, with July being the peak month with about 30% of all strikes. Now, unfortunately, last week on Fort Myers Beach, 3 people were struck by lightning and 1 of them was killed. Approximately 10% of the people who are hit by lightning do actually die. Besides the obvious burns that can happen, about 25% of those who are hit by lightning have some other kind of physiological or psychological damage, such as neurological problems, depression, ringing in the ears, hearing loss, or other issues. As one expert says, lightning messes with the body's wiring. So, lightning is serious and not something to be messed with. As we've heard before in our program, it can strike up to 10 miles away from where there's a storm. So if you can hear thunder, the lightning can hit you. And lightning can hit after the storm has passed. So you really need to wait about 30 minutes after the last thunder to make sure you're in the clear. If you're caught outside during a lightning storm, don't stay near anything tall, because the majority of fatal strikes are actually by bolts that go through the ground after hitting something nearby that's tall. A car is a great place to be during a lightning storm because the metal of the car actually functions like a Faraday cage and directs the lightning around the occupants, so that's a good place to be. And counterintuitively, an airplane is also a pretty good place to be during a storm for the same reason. Now, even if you're in a house, lightning can travel through wiring or through pipes, so you want to stay away from anything that's plugged into the wall or from pipes or water. If someone happens to be struck near you and is unconscious, you can start CPR immediately. The body does not hold any charge from the lightning. That's a myth.
So, when you're out and about, keep an eye on the sky and be aware of your surroundings.
Whoa!
Finally, on the health front, Dr. Carol Clark came by to share about the Diabetes Support Group.
I'm here today with Dr. Carol Clark, and we're going to be discussing the diabetic group appointment group that meets on a monthly basis. This is a unique support group, and for more information and details about when they meet and what location, you can check out your monthly publication of the ShellPoint Life. Dr. Clark, thanks for being here today.
Thank you for asking me.
Well, you run and organize the diabetic group appointment. And what is unique about that? Why do we have to say group appointment instead of support group?
Well, it's just the way we have designed the meeting so that it's sort of understood that whatever is said in the meeting is confidential and people are able to speak freely about the medications they take, the doses they take, or any problems that they're having, and the confidentiality stays in the group.
Right, right. Now, who all comes to the group? It's not just for people who are on insulin. You do both, non-insulin and insulin?
We do. And we even have 2 members of the group who are actually former diabetics because they have lost weight, exercised, and actually now show clinically no diabetes.
Wonderful.
But they continue to come to be encouraged and also to support others.
Right, because they don't want to slip back,
right,
which you can do easily. Now, diabetes is hard because we are tempted times during the day to put, unhealthy things in our mouth, and you also have to remember to exercise and hydrate and so forth. So it's really a lifestyle change when you get that diagnosis.
It is, and unfortunately in our society today, we just tend to move too little and eat too much.
Right.
And if we can help people just to move a little bit more often and to eat a little bit more of the good food that's appropriate for diabetes, and the tremendous challenge to any person who's in the aging process is just to reduce the carbohydrates.
Right.
And that becomes harder and harder to do as chewing problems occur and taste buds change. So the foods that actually are the most harmful are also the easiest to partake of.
Right. What other topics have you covered?
Well, we try to cover at least several times a year. I try to work on how to prevent the complications of the long-term disease. Once a person has had diabetes for about 10 years, complications can begin to surface whether or not there's been tight control. So we try to help people realize that no matter how hard you try, some of these complications may just surface. And one of those that's particularly frustrating is neuropathy. And people that have neuropathic pain really have an altered lifestyle.
Right.
And there actually is a neuropathy support group.
Correct.
That's sometimes we have members from both in our group. And we do encourage spouses to come because we really believe that the more education there is in the home about the disease, then the more understanding and lifestyle adaptations that can be made.
Okay. Well, Dr. Clark, thank you so much for running this monthly group, because I know that you put a lot of time and effort beforehand to do some research to be able to answer the questions, and you really motivate people to do the right thing and make the right healthy choice and give them all the information that they can.
That's our goal, and we have a room full of people, but we always have some chairs that are empty that we'd be glad to fill.
Right. Well, if you would like to partake in the diabetes group appointment, please feel comfortable to do so. Check your ShellPoint Life for time and location of the meeting on a monthly basis. And remember, diabetes is one that you can be a little bit more successful if those around you are educated too. So feel free to bring a spouse or a loved one or a neighbor to help you understand all the information that you will be gathering during this appointment. I'm Mary Franklin, along with Dr. Clark. Make it a happy and healthy day.
We'll top off the week with a bit of sweetness. Ruth Duber's What's Cooking recipe for strawberry soup And no, the irony related to our last segment is not lost on me, but the show must go on.
Hello, I'm Ruth Duber, and this is What's Cooking at Shell Point. And I've got into a little bit of mischief today. A couple years ago, I told my husband, I said, I have a recipe for strawberry soup. And he said, what do you mean soup? Strawberries belong on a biscuit. Well, I've looked at several cookbooks, and it's really kind of a popular dish. It's light, and right now strawberries are a good buy. I think you can buy a package like this for $2.50 or $3. And so now's the time to do it. Sorry, Florida, but these are California strawberries. And I've lived in Florida for over 40 years, and I still like these strawberries from California better. They seem to have a little more flavor. Anyway, this is what we're going to start with. This is the finished product, and we'll have a look at that, and then we'll go into making it. This is the package of strawberries, and I've hulled them, washed them and hulled them, and now we're going to blend them. And it takes a while. I could probably cut them in smaller pieces. Now we're starting. Better put that on. You want to puree it until it's smooth. And then our other ingredients. This is 1/4 cup of sugar. I thought I had some Splenda, but I'm out of it, so I used regular sugar. But you can use Splenda. And this calls for 1 cup of cream. And 1 cup of sour cream. This is the reduced fat sour cream, which is what I always use, not the no fat. But we're going to put that in there. And now we're going to have a little bit of fun. It calls for 1 teaspoon of rum extract. Now, if you really want to be adventurous, and if you have real rum, you can use about 1 tablespoonful to flavor it, but it's entirely up to you. So today, I'm just going to do the flavoring. So we'll just do 1 teaspoon of that. And let's blend it a little more. Now, there it is. And the reason I have it dished up here is it should really chill for at least 2 or 3 hours before you serve it. But this one, I made some yesterday, and I really love strawberries. So I'll have some left over, but anyway. These berries have so much flavor, and there's just enough added to it. Oh, it's mighty delicious. I'll put it up on the website. Hope you try it. Bye-bye.
Well, that's it for this week, folks. We're glad you joined us for today's show. Tune in again next week for more news and stories from around your community. Until then, this is Shell Point Today for the weekend of August 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. I'm Dan Philgreen, and from all of us here at Shell Point TV, we hope you have a great weekend, and we'll see you back here on Monday.